So I'd be lying to you if I told you my winter break, my first year, was productive. In fact, my first winter break, I didn't get out of bed for 3 days straight. I was so mentally and emotionally exhausted. I remember laying in bed and finally waking up on the third day of break, looking around and bursting into tears because I was so incredibly exhausted and I felt like I was wasting my break. The last day before break, I felt like I got hit by a car and I just honestly was sick all the time. And if you're feeling guilty for resting over break, then this one's for you because today we're going to be talking about what I wish I knew before my first winter break as a teacher. So, with that being said, let's dive in. So, as I mentioned earlier, my first year of teaching, I was extremely exhausted by the time I got to break. I woke up during that first break feeling guilty. I had worked so hard at that point and I spent the first couple days resting and then I felt guilty about it. So I worked the entire rest of my break because of that guilt. I felt like I had to earn the break that I had gotten or given myself the first couple days. So I spent that time grading, catching up on lesson planning and prepping. And the problem was I was so exhausted from that trying to catch up that by the time I went back school started up again, I was dreading it and I was still burned out. I didn't actually feel rejuvenated and ready to go. And that burnout I had felt before break didn't go away. So, with my story in mind, here are some mistakes I've made along the way when it comes to winter break and just breaks in general that I've learned the hard way now that I'm in, 7, 8 years of teaching. So, the first one is overworking. Like I said, I worked my entire break because I wanted to get ahead or caught up, which made me feel exhausted and not rejuvenated or refreshed by the time school started up again. I was snappy at my students and made the whole thing worse just by overworking myself over break. And that was a lesson I had to learn, honestly, more than 1 year and one break, that working your entire break isn't actually that productive. If anything, it can actually be a little detrimental to the rest of your year. The second mistake I made when it came to my winter break was overcommitting. I hadn't seen my families and friends and the entire school year. I was burned out, had little to no time for myself, let alone a social life. So I ended up overcommitting my social calendar over break to make up for lost time. And I'm sure if you are an extrovert, this wouldn't be a problem for you, but I tend to be more introverted. So hanging out with families and friends that you hadn't seen in a long time, to make up for lost time when you're already feeling emotionally and socially exhausted can kind of just drain that battery even more. And so, what those first couple breaks looked like was when I wasn't working, I was visiting with friends and family. And by the time school started up again, I was socially drained. I was so tired of talking and visiting with people that my students actually ended up taking the brunt of it. The third mistake I made was ignoring burnout. I thought it was normal to be burned out your first year of teaching, and the thing is, society makes it so normal and expected, even. So I didn't know that there was another way. But the truth is, there is another way. And I've actually helped many first year teachers avoid burnout. And some have said even that their first year is their favorite year in their teaching career so far. So let this be proof that that doesn't have to be your story. You can be one of the teachers that actually enjoys their first year. Burnout isn't required. Again, I'm going to say that again. Burnout is not required. You can enjoy teaching and set yourself up for success from day one without having to get to that point that so many of us actually, had to or did along the way. The secret here to how you can prevent burnout from happening is really using those systems and not working yourself to the ground. Really coming up with what is your definition of a good teacher and then leading into that and reminding yourself of that And reminding yourself that your worth is not measured by how much you got done today or your to-do list. It's measured by XYZ, whatever you choose. And you don't have to burn yourself to the ground to earn rest. You deserve rest because you do. You are worthy because you are. So now that we talked about the 3 mistakes that I made over winter breaks or breaks in general, let's talk about what to do instead. So the first one is to set a work limit. If you're going to work over break, set a limit on how much you are going to work each day or how many days over the break, however that looks like for you. So for example, let's say I want to work 1 hour a day on my classroom, or 2 hours a day. Maybe I only want to work 2 days total over winter break, and I'm just going to dedicate those 2 days to work. But setting that boundary ahead of time, and then I like to use a Pomodoro timer. What it is it has a set amount of time to work and a set amount of time for a break to keep yourself accountable. So that's the first thing I recommend doing. The second thing is to set a visit limit. Decide how often you are going to visit family and friends. First, figure out if it's something that's going to drain you or it's going to energize you. And then decide how often you're going to visit friends and family and set that boundary and stick with it. Don't feel guilty for saying no or setting boundaries, because at the end of the day, you're protecting you and more students and your career and your energy in general. And that's absolutely a good thing. In fact, you should be doing. And your social and emotional battery matters, so protect it at all costs. The third thing I recommend doing over winter break is not ignoring burnout. So burnout is not the measure of success as a teacher. You're not considered a good teacher if you reach burnout. It's not some title you earn or some badge of honor that you need to earn to be a good teacher. Ask yourself, body, what do I need today? And do it. This is a great way to show up for yourself and kind of just in small ways prevent that burnout. So if you wake up in the morning and you're like, body, what do I need today? You know what? I really just need to sit and read a book for 5 minutes. Do it. If you really need to go for a walk outside, or you really need to get some sunshine, whatever it is, make sure to ask yourself what it is you need and do it. And then don't decide that or ask your body what you need to do over winter break, and then your body says, or you realize, you know what, I'm just frazzled. I really can't work today. I really don't want to work today. And then you decide to work anyways, because the reality is your body knows what it needs to do. And oftentimes if you do what your body needs first, the work you're going to do is going to come out that much better. So for example, there's been times over break where I thought, you know what, I can't work. I'm frazzled right now. I really need a nap. And so I took a nap, and then as soon as I woke up, I felt way better and I was excited to work on what I needed to do. So the thing here is I trust myself to show up and do the work, because I have in the past and I know I will do the work. First, I get to show up and be a friend for myself and do whatever I need to get into that headspace to do my most potent or impactful work. So if you need to go paint, go paint. If you need to go to the gym, go to the gym. If you need to take 5 minutes to yourself, take 5 minutes to yourself. But ask yourself, body, what do I need today? And then go do it. Show up for yourself and trust yourself that you will show up to do the work. And don't ignore burnout, because it will just get worse. I can speak from experience. Like I said, I was burned out. I felt guilty for taking a rest those first 3 days. So I worked myself to the ground the rest of break. And the rest of the year was a lot harder than it needed to be because I chose to do that. So that wraps up everything in regards to everything I wish I would have known about winter break before my first winter break. So as a recap, here's the different things we talked about. First off, we talked about my personal story. We talked about the 3 mistakes I made, and then we talked about what I wish I knew instead and what I wish I would have done instead. So if you found this content helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could like, subscribe, maybe even share it with a teacher you know who needs to hear it. And feel free to send me a DM or leave a comment. It makes my day when I get to hear about what you think about every week's content. And make sure to subscribe and like. If you want to dive in further into teacher burnout and work-life balance, I have a couple different resources for you. The first one is I have a new book coming out. I'm in the process of writing it and getting it edited, and I have a waitlist going for that. So make sure to check out the link in the description so you can get access to that. And then anybody who accesses the book or gets access to the book is gonna get my 3-day leave work on time now challenge. And this challenge is over the course of 3 days. I'm going live to record and talk about how you can personally leave consistently at contract time. And what I love about this training is it's free for those of you that get access to the book. And like I said, it's live. It's great content, and honestly, it's something I really wish I would have known those first couple years. So I would really love if you could join us. If you want to join us, if you feel called to, I would love for you to join us. If you want to take it a step further and you want my top strategies for leaving work on time / work-life balance, make sure to check out the prep guide. It's my free guide on the top 10 strategies I have in regards to consistently leaving at contract time and getting more done on your prep. If you want to take it a step further and you want to see the strategies that I use in my classroom, you want to see my classroom management, my grading, how I communicate with families and admin, how I organize my resources so it saves me time next year, how I plan, how I prep, so that way I consistently left at contract time for the past 5 years now. Make sure to check out the Present Teacher Circle, because it's my community where I show you exactly everything I've used in my classroom, all the strategies, all the templates, everything I share over there. So make sure to check that out. As always, remember, we are stronger together. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll talk to you later, Teacher Bestie. Bye.